Shrek stretched lazily, then bathed in the mud, used the caterpillar as toothpaste, ate eyeballs for dinner. Whenever someone invaded his territory, he would immediately roar loudly and drive them all away. But one day, many people suddenly arrived outside. The lively scene left him stunned. Shrek wanted to drive them away, but the king was outside capturing fairy tale characters. Helpless, they sought refuge here. Shrek was frustrated, so he decided to talk to the king. The enormous castle surprisingly had no one inside. Turns out, the king was hosting a tournament, searching for a warrior to rescue the princess. Shrek barged in. Seeing such an ugly monster, the king immediately ordered his arrest. Soldiers surrounded him. Shrek smashed open a barrel of wine, then stepped onto the arena. In a few rounds, he knocked down the soldiers one by one. Seeing how powerful Shrek was, the king sent him to rescue the princess, conditioned on sparing the fairy tale characters. So Shrek embarked on the journey. Under the castle were terrifying lava flows. Outside were the skeletons of soldiers. A big ice suddenly appeared, and the little donkey hurriedly fled. The big dragon spewed flames from behind. Shrek blocked it barehanded. Then he maneuvered behind the dragon's tail. He ended up being thrown out, landing right into the princess's room. The princess pretended to be asleep, but Shrek forcefully woke her up. Shrek with the princess escaped. The little donkey was preparing to confront the big dragon. However, the dragon took an interest in him. The dragon kidnapped him to a room, even added a touch of romance. Shrek grabbed an iron chain, secretly locked it around the dragon's neck. They successfully escaped from the castle. The princess wanted to see Shrek's face. He initially wanted to refuse. Compelled, he removed his helmet. The princess felt somewhat disappointed. Shrek carried her back to find the king. The sun soon set. Shrek pried open a piece of stone, created a simple shelter for the princess. The princess moved in. The princess made breakfast for them. They were about to head back. On the way, a gang of robbers appeared. The princess jumped out. In a few rounds, she knocked them over. Surprisingly, the princess had impressive skills. The princess took off a spider web, then caught some bees, made cotton candy for Shrek. Shrek turned a frog into a balloon. The princess also tried with a snake. The princess exhibited peculiar behavior. Unbeknownst to Shrek, he fell in love with her. Princess went to her room to rest at night. The little donkey planned to help Shrek express his love, so he entered the room to find the princess. In the darkness, a terrifying figure appeared. Surprisingly, it was the princess turned into a monster. The princess was cursed to transform into a monster at night. Only a kiss could break the curse, but who would be willing to kiss such a monster? Shrek was about to confess his feelings, thinking the princess was talking about him, so he angrily left. The next day, the princess returned to her normal self, but Shrek was still upset about the previous night. He brought the king over, but the king was a dwarf. The king proposed to the princess. Shrek, feeling dejected after leaving, the donkey told him the truth. Shrek wrongly accused the princess. As they were about to take their vows, Shrek rushed in. He declared his love to the princess, but faced mockery from others. As the sun gradually set, the princess turned into a monster. The king was frightened, immediately ordering their arrest. Suddenly, the big dragon broke through the window, swiftly devouring the king. The princess was moved by Shrek's courage. After a kiss, the curse on the princess was lifted. However, she didn't turn into a beautiful appearance. This was her most original form, but Shrek didn't care at all. He loved the princess for who she was, and they lived happily together.